Galileo Galilei was an astronomer, physicist, mathematician, and a philosopher. He was also a teacher of geometry, mechanics, and astronomy. Despite general belief, Galileo did not invent the first telescope. He was just the first dude to use it for looking at all the awesome stuff in space and recording what he found. Still very cool though. What Galileo did do first was discovering the 4 largest moons of the planet Jupiter, named Io, Ganymede, Europa, and Callisto, what we now know today as the Galilean moons. He is also credited with being one of the first to understand sound frequency. By scraping a chisel at different speeds, he connected the pitch of the scraping sound to the spacing in between the scrapes, measuring sound frequency. While that's an awesome discovery, that sounds incredibly annoying to test over and over again. Could you imagine scraping a freaking stone chisel against another stone for hours on end? You'd go crazy! But anyway, the beginning of the scientific revolution was mainly focused on the recovery from people and works of the past, but Galileo was the one to break that chain with his book, Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems, published in 1632. He also developed an improved military and geometric compass. Galileo Galilei was a supporter of the heliocentric theory, which stated that the sun is the center of our universe. But the Catholic Church, more specifically Pope Urban VIII, was like, oh heck no, telescope guy, and ordered Galileo to stop reporting his findings. Galileo was like, I'll do what I want, and bounced back years later with his before-mentioned book, Dialogue Concerning the Two World Systems, which criticized Aristotle's perfect universe. This really ticked off the Catholic Church. Galileo was put on trial after publishing his book, where after repeating his theory that the Earth revolves around the sun, he muttered the famous phrase, and yet it moves. But after all that, they slapped a house arrest on him, but he could still study his stuff. Galileo and his discoveries refused to be contained, and his writings were smuggled out of the country and published elsewhere. One of the smuggled writings were Two New Sciences, which was essentially a summary of his work that was around 40 years old. Those 2 new sciences were kinematics and strength of materials, published in Holland to avoid the censoring of his work. Fun fact, Albert Einstein really liked this book. And it's because of this book that Galileo is widely referred to as the father of modern physics. Galileo died in 1642 after suffering fever and heart palpitations on January 8, 1642, at the age of 77. A marble mausoleum was built in his honor.